wind didn't just howl, it screamed!
This wasn't just a snowstorm. It was a white hell. An ancient, furious entity come to claim its due.
My name is Anya. And I was, unbelievably, alone. I'd been tracking a rare Arctic fox, foolishly pushing further than I should have, my satellite phone already dead from the cold. The temperature, even before the blizzard hit, had brutal minus 45 degrees Celsius. Every breath was a knife in my lungs, every exposed inch of skin screaming with pain. My fingers, even inside thick gloves, were starting to lose sensation. This was it. This was how people disappeared in Yakutia. Not with a bang, but with a whisper of frost. Panic was a cold, constricting hand around my throat, but I knew, deep down, panic was the fastest way to die. Survival here wasn't about strength. It was about stubbornness. About a primal, desperate refusal to yield. My first priority: improve the shelter. The tarp was a joke. I needed snow, tons of it. My muscles burned, my head throbbed, but I pushed on. Each scoop was a tiny victory against the encroaching death. The blizzard raged without mercy. Visibility was less than a meter. I couldn't see my hands in front of my face sometimes, just a swirling vortex of white. I crawled inside, pulling my emergency sleeping bag, rated to minus 30, around me. It was already clear that this bag alone wouldn't be enough. Fire. Fire was my next god. Without it, I was simply delaying the inevitable. The biggest challenge was finding anything remotely dry enough to burn in this tempest. I had to venture back into the whiteout, tethering myself to the shelter with a length of terrified Hypothermia and... My hands, already suffering, grew more clumsy, more stiff. Back in the cramped shelter, the real battle began. My fingers were protesting, throbbing with a deep ache. My ferro rod sparked, showering orange stars into the tinder. Nothing. My heart sank. Despair gnawed at me. My hands were shaking uncontrollably. I closed my eyes, took a deep, shuddering breath. Focus, Anya. You know this. One tiny spark caught. A wisp of smoke, then a reluctant flicker. I cupped it, breathing gently, coaxing it, protecting it as if it were my own child. The warmth was intoxicating, a physical embrace after hours of unrelenting cold. The heat slowly seeped into my extremities, bringing agonizing pins and nettles, but it was a pain I welcomed.
This fire was more than just warmth, it was hope. It was a beacon against the encroaching darkness, both literal and metaphorical.
I melted snow in a small metal cup, drinking the lukewarm water slowly, carefully. I had a few protein bars, some dried meat. I rationed them, knowing this storm could last for days. I talked to myself, whispered stories, sang forgotten songs. The silence, when the wind momentarily lulled, was even more terrifying, an empty void that threatened. I exercised inside the cramped shelter, rubbing my hands and feet, trying to keep the blood flowing, to ward off. My water supply was constant, thanks to the snow, but food was dwindling. The thought of being trapped here, then of what felt like the third or fourth day. Time had become meaningless, a shift. The roar of the wind lessened. A faint, almost imperceptible lightning on the horizon. A fragile, trembling. I packed my meager belongings, extinguished the fire, and stepped out into a world utterly transformed.